234, welcome to this term's art. We are going to be looking at Romans and some of the artwork that they did, particularly the mosaics, and that is going to inspire us to do our artwork. Okay, so I'm going to flip the screen over so that you can see the work that we're going to be doing. So Roman art, we are going to be looking at how we can use pattern and colour to be inspired by the Roman art and create a piece of artwork for it. Okay, so for this term, we are going to be looking at collage. But for today, we're really going to be doing some designs. So what you mainly need is really just a pencil and paper. Ideally, a larger sheet of paper, like an A3, so that you can do lots of different patterns and designs and play around with. There is an extra thing that you could have a go at doing. And for that, you'd either need some colour or some coloured paper. And I will show you that as we go on. So collage, I love collage. It's such a fun medium to play around with. And if you think about Roman mosaics, they use lots of little tiles and they put them together. And through collage, you can tell a story and you can use color, you can use patterns. And I just love these examples of collage here because it doesn't just have to be paper that we're using. You know, for collage, you can use all sorts, okay, and you can overlap and lay the different materials on top of one another and get a really beautiful effect, because it means that you can use opaque things which doesn't show anything through, or you can use more transparent materials as well, where you actually get to see what's underneath as well. Okay, so we can have lots and lots of fun with that. So I wanted to show you these examples to kind of show you where we're heading. But first, what we need to do today is just have a look and have a think about patterns and colour. So we're going to be exploring creating a pattern, because often with the Roman mosaics, they would use a pattern or perhaps a border or something like that, a symbol within it to kind of frame a picture. And the pictures, the bit within, that's what we're going to move on to next week, the picture within, that telling the story. And yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun with that. So what I'd like you to do between now and next week's lesson is to just keep hold of things that you could use for your collage. So if you're learning from home, things like recycling, cereal boxes, magazines, newspapers, anything you can kind of chop up, that's going to help us create our picture. Okay, so we're going to have a look at these designs, and we're going to have a go at doing some patterns today. Okay, so here are some lovely examples of patterns. All right, now I want you to use these as inspiration. Okay, so once in a moment, I'm just going to show you some of the things that we could do. When I'm doing that, or after you've watched me do that, what you could do is come back to this point in the video and just pause it, and you can have a look and see if any of these particular patterns inspire you. Now, what I am going to show you as well is this technique here, where we can kind of use some paper to create a more movable pattern, because sometimes drawing it can be quite tricky. You might want something that you can move around and play with. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to my screen where you can see my desk, and then we can have a go at doing this. So here we go. I have got my piece of paper here, and the first thing that I'm going to do is, because I want to do a few designs, and I'd like you to do a few designs, ideally at least 4. So what you can do is just perhaps draw yourself some large squares like a tile. Okay, so draw out at least 4. Obviously you can do more than that, and you might want to draw them out a bit bigger. Remember, we're not doing the details today. Today is really just about doing a pattern, a design, okay, that we're going to be able to then use as we go a bit further with this project. All right, and then I want you to think about, oh, okay, so we could just create a bit of movement, a bit of a pattern within it. Okay, so you could use lines for example, to create a pattern. And using lines perhaps that go in opposite directions is quite a nice and simple technique to create a pattern design, which would then be quite nice perhaps as a border. All right, so that one's quite structured, quite straight lines. So I want you to kind of have a play around as well. I quite like the wave kind of pattern, like that. So you could do like a wave pattern or a swirl of some kind. You could be inspired by things like flowers and things like that. So, you know, I might have this kind of central point. In fact, you could almost do a swirl like that, and then maybe that spreads out towards the corners. Okay, and then, I mean, from that you could do kind of a floral type pattern. Okay, something like this. You might want to put something special to you in the middle. So, you know, one of the examples I showed you, it had like a sword in the middle, or perhaps you have something quite special, okay, that you might want to put as your kind of center to it. I quite like the idea as well. So I've done kind of lines that are going across from one side to the other, a bit more of a free movement one that kind of is coming out from the center. So now actually I'm kind of do the opposite from that. It's coming out from the edges. So I want to create almost like a star pattern. And really, I want you to have fun with these and just explore until you find something you really quite like. So this is where you can just experiment. Okay, now if you want to take it a bit further, like I said, you can have some colour. So you could just use pencils or pens and kind of just experiment with the way colour could work on this. So for example, for this one, I'm imagining this bright yellow centre and then fading out from like an orange to a red, perhaps to a pink. Might be quite pretty. So you can have a play around with colours as well, just to take it a step further. And really today I just want you to kind of get to a point where you think, oh yes, I really love that, and I'd really love to work that in to my piece of artwork next week. Okay, and we can either work it in so that it's actually part of the whole image. So for example, this bit, it might be that the story that we tell is in the center of this, or it might be that this is just going to be your edge or your border to it. Okay, so just explore, find what you like, and I would like you to do at least 4 designs for this. Now, another thing that you could do to do this is play around physically with the paper, because sometimes it's quite hard to imagine, which is why I'm saying to go back to my PowerPoint and have a look at the designs that are on there, because they might help you. If you want to do something a bit more 3D that you can explore and play around with, what you need to do is get a strip of paper like this and just do some snips with scissors all the way along. So you're snipping to about halfway, and then you can fold that over opposite directions. So you keep folding over like this, and then what you do, once you've got everything folded, you then glue the base. So glue this side, so all the little tabs, and then you can move it around and play around. So I've stuck one here already, and they do stick quite quickly. Okay, so just an ordinary glue stick. So I'm going to go along, glue each one, and you can get some different colours as well. So I've used a blue and a yellow here, but whatever you've got at home, or you could just colour. If you've just got white paper, then you could just colour some paper and then do it that way. And then because it has these little taps. It can look like the Roman mosaics as well, and it just gives you an opportunity to kind of play around and to actually move it to a pattern that you might quite like, so you can kind of work it in with in together and just create something in a more 3D way. So if you're having trouble imagining something, or it might be that you do one of these patterns, like this wave one, for example, and want to see how it would look coming out and as a bit more of a 3D version. Okay, so you just glue the bottom, and then just needs a little bit of pressing, and then it will stay, and you can just play around with your designs. Okay, so have a go at that and make sure you share your designs, and then you're going to need to keep hold of them ready for our work that we're going to be doing next week. Okay, so I hope you have fun, and I look forward to seeing your ideas, and yeah, and I look forward to seeing you next week for the next part. All right, take care. Bye.